Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, I made this video about Kanye West, and it involved the Bruce Jenner and gay marriage, and back in the day when he got up on stage and interrupted Taylor Swift. It all goes back to that. So basically, what happened? He performed at Glastonbury instead of the Foo Fighters this year, and they had the big petition saying they didn't want him to be there. So supposedly he went out and said he was the greatest rock star of all time, and he covered Bohemian Rhapsody and did a horrible job of it. And then some guy got up on stage and like mocked him, kind of like he did to Taylor Swift. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that was going on. And for one, so he's dating the Kardashian girl or whatever. Can't think of the one, Kim. And so that where it all tied into Bruce Jenner or whatever. It's if you go watch this video, if you will, I mean, it'll make a lot more sense to what I'm going to say here. So anyway, also he sung Freddie, the Freddie Mercury song, and it all has to do with the Civil War and Freddie Gray. Still, they're totally putting it in the storyline or whatever. So, and that all ties in with it because Bruce Jenner being the transgender, and then Freddie Mercury, he was known for being gay and having AIDS. The word gay adds up to 33, AIDS adds up to 33. His name's also Freddie, spelled the same way as Freddie Gray. The song, even the beginning, even says, "Mama, I just killed a man." We've been talking about Obama maybe being assassinated, and so I mean, there's a ton of stuff in this video, but a lot of it has to do. I mean, goes back to Freddie Gray, whatever, and also I never told you the Taylor Swift. When he got up on stage at the VMAs, it was September 13th, 2009 was the day that happened. So if you write out that date as a number here, 13-9, like 139. And then if you recall, so I just want to point out September 13th, 13-9, 139. But also this year on February 8th, Kanye West faked out Beck and went up on stage and they made a big deal about it. And then he was just doing it as a joke or whatever this year and whatever, but it was on February 8th. And the day that he played in Glastonbury where the guy got up on stage and did it to him was 139 days after that. Also the day after gay marriage was legalized. But Beck was on stage for the best album of the year, which was called Morning Phase. And if you add that up in Gematria, it's 139. Also, the mirror day of September 13th is 419, the same day that Freddie Gray died. Also, the same day that the movie Freddie's Dead came out. So just pointing it out. Freddie's Dead in 1991. It came out on September 13th, 13-9. Tons of stuff with it, even 89 minutes. That's all about the Queen. A lot of this ties into the Queen. Like I said, if you go watch that video. And I just want to point this out one more time. There was also another movie called Drop Dead Fred in the same year. So it came out on the mirror day of Freddie's Dead. But it came out on April 19th, 419. That is the same day Freddie Gray died. Also the same day there was the first death in the American Civil War. Also, in the future of this video here, I'm going to talk about something that has to deal with this. So remember that the main character in this movie, besides Drop Dead Fred, her name is Lizzie. Just remember that. And what I'm going to talk about is that Corey Taylor of Slipknot was in the news right after that, slamming Kanye West, saying that he isn't the greatest rock star of all time. And the video went viral, all blah, 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 blah. But it's completely planned, whatever. But interesting, in this video, the ad that pops up is for Masters of Sex Season 3, and then it even has Lizzie in it. So I clicked on the link anyway. It has Lizzie Kaplan. I believe she's the girl in Mean Girls or whatever, the goth girl or whatever. But it's really funny. I mean, I'm telling you, it's all about the Queen, Queen Elizabeth. So they're doing, this is the first I've ever picked up on this. So Lizzie, like Elizabeth, and then you had Lizzie on Drop Dead Fred. In this show, like, read the little thing here. Don't miss the new season of Masters of Sex starring Michael Sheen, Lizzie Kaplan, and Caitlyn Fitzgerald. And look how Caitlyn's spelled, just like Caitlyn Jenner. And remember how they made a big deal about why Caitlyn Jenner used a C and not a K? That was a big deal. So interesting. Maybe it's not spelled the same way, but it's with a C. That was the main point. All right. So anyway, I'm going to play this clip. It's only about 30 seconds. And first off, just look at this. So he's wearing the Star Wars shirt, right? That's what he's doing, right? They're both stars, and it's kind of like a little fake war or whatever. I don't know. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, here's the video. Hopefully you can hear it.
Choice.com.
You are not the greatest living rock star of all time. The fact that you had to tell people that kind of says it all. You remind me of the guy who brags about putting. They never get as much as they brag about. Stop it. Stop it.
So anyway, hopefully you could hear that. You notice how he puts emphasis on the word not. He says you are not. And then he holds up the AOK sign, the 3 6s. I mean, ridiculous. And then he emphasizes the word not. And if you do not in gematria, it is 49 and 13. Both very significant numbers. Been talking about it for a really long time. And 13, always significant. He also says stop it twice. He emphasizes stop it at the end. And stop it is 27, which this is a 27 year because 1988 was 27 years ago. It seems like it's all based around the 88. Even in Slipknot, he's known as number 8 even, but I'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, also 99 is the day that I had talked about a couple videos ago. As the time travel movie where they go, or book by Stephen King, where he goes back and tries to stop the assassination of JFK. He always goes back in time on 9/9, 1958 or whatever. And the 99th day of the year is even 4/9. I mean, come on. And if you convert it Gregorian to Julian, it's also September 9th is also the same as 9/22. But anyway, I thought to myself, why Corey Taylor? Like, what's the significance of Corey Tayller? I mean, so we got Stone Sour, Slipknot, whatever, Iowa. So I just looked up, let's go here. I looked up Corey Taylor. But so I remember I talked about him, or I know I wrote it down a long time ago, because he was born in 73. I think it was probably a year ago or so, because the 73s went with the 88s, and there's a ton of stuff with 8, like he was number 8, or that's what he's known in the band. But I mean, even read like how he decided to be number 8. It says he was the 6th joining band. He would also come to be known as number 8, being that the band allows a numbering scheme for its members ranging from 0 to 8. According to Sean Crahan, Corey wanted number 8 because it symbolizes infinity. I mean, really? Before I even started doing all this research and whatnot, I would have never been like, I want to be number 8 in basketball because infinity. Maybe because of Kobe Bryant or, something else, but not because of infinity. So, I mean, right there, it tells you he knew stuff already. I mean, maybe not. Maybe I'm stretching that, but I don't know. If I asked any one of my friends right now who doesn't study any of this, and I said, what do you think of the number 8? They would say, Kobe Bryant used to be number 8. They wouldn't say anything about infinity. There's even a part somewhere in here about how he's going to commit suicide and jump off the 8th floor balcony. I don't even know where it is. Attempted to jump off the balcony on the 8th floor at the Hyatt on Sunset Boulevard in 2003. Somehow his girlfriend or whatever stopped him. But it's not even about him, really. So it's just the word Taylor, I think. because Taylor Swift. So he's just kind of like, since his last name is Taylor, it kind of just fits with the whole storyline that they're trying to run with it. But check out, I've been talking about Freddie Gray and how it all has to do with Gray and Freddie Gray. Well, look at his acting career, it says here. Acting career. On December 4th, 2013, Corey Taylor joined the cast of Fear Clinic with Robert Englund. Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger. I mean, are you joking me? And you even read here, read through his little stuff here. Wanting a feature film debut, Englund was briefly considered for the part of Han Solo in 1977 film Star Wars. I mean, and then Corey Taylor was wearing the Star Wars shirt. Even like on Freddy's Dead or whatever. So, the very first Freddy movie, the first girl ever to die, her last name was Gray. In any Freddy Krueger movie, the first girl to die, her last name was Gray. Give me a break. It also came out in 84, just like Obama was born on 8/4. Anyway, another huge reason here. This is exactly why they did Corey Taylor here. Because of Slipknot. And Slipknot's last album that they put out was literally called .5, The Gray Chapter. The last album they put out in 2014, .5, The Gray Chapter, because their bassist, Paul Gray, actually died of an overdose, supposedly. So then I just wanted to take a look at Paul Gray then. We'll see what Paul Gray has to offer here. Well, first thing I noticed, he is died on the 144th day of the year. And that's, there's 221 days left until the end of the year also. And the 221, like February 21st, is the 52nd day. I've talked a significant amount about how 52 and goes with the Queen, and just tons and tons of 52. Even September 9th, like 9/9 that I was talking about earlier, is the 252nd day. And just want to bring this up here. A long time ago, actually Game 7 of the World Series, I recorded the very intro, and it had it was all mirrored image, so I had to redo these screenshots or whatever, but it showed a ton of numbers, and it said, oh, the World Series is filled with numbers, and it seriously was. But check out this. I mean, this was one of the parts in here. 244 to 252, and then they had 144, 152. They even also had a picture. It was 122 ERA. 22nd day is actually May 2nd, 5-2. Even had 99 whip here. And I mean, so interesting. Also, San Francisco played Kansas City, and San Francisco adds up to 122. Kansas City adds up to 122. Anyway, back to the Gray stuff here. 99 whip. Whip adds up to 56. So 99, 56 is 155. Well, check out the gematria of some of this stuff here. So, if you add up Paul Gray's real name, it's Paul Dedrick Gray. It adds up to 155, just like the 99 whip, I guess. That's what brought it up. But also adds up to 74. If you add up the Gray Chapter, like what the album was called, the Gray Chapter here, well, hold on. It adds up to the same exact thing as Paul Dedrick Gray. 155, 74, 74, 155. I mean, come on. What are the odds of that? This is ridiculous. They named that on purpose. Anyway, Paul Gray, just Paul Gray, adds up to 38. And his nickname was the Pig, adds up to 38. And he was also posthumously awarded the Kerrang, which adds up to 38. He died at the age of 38. He was also found dead in room 431 at this hotel. But 431 is the 83rd prime, the mirror of 38, 83, 38. It also says that he died because of an overdose of morphine. And then he also had shown signs of significant heart disease. But if you add up morphine, it adds up to 98. And he was born on April 8th, the 98th day of the year. I thought that was kind of interesting. Also, just another thing, another 38 was Stone Sour. I mean, he had no part in that, so just interesting that it added up to 38. It even says here, besides Slipknot, Gray filled in as bassist for Unida during their 2003 tour, appeared on Drop Dead Gorgeous, Worse Than a Fairy Tale, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, really? Drop Dead Gorgeous, kind of like Drop Dead Fred. Even if you look over at Associated Acts, one of them is 888. I mean, what are the odds of that? Drop Dead Gorgeous, when you add that up, Drop Dead Gorgeous, 84, like Obama, born on 8-4. Also, Obama is the 44th president. So Drop Dead, and then what's going to drop dead? Gorgeous. Gorgeous adds up to 44. Thought that was kind of interesting. And I mean, I know he died, 5 years ago? But still, that's how they code it. I mean, they code it that long ago. I mean, how many other artists do you think, if Kanye West really said that, or he really did, or whatever, how many other artists do you think said that in an interview that no, he's not, whatever? Why did Corey Taylor's go viral? You know what I mean? There's a reason for it, and this is the reason. I guarantee you, it's about the Gray. And then it says an award was named after Paul titled Paul Gray Best Bassist of the Year as a tribute to Paul. Slipknot presented the award to Nikki Sixx of 6 a.m. and Motley Crue. And he's mostly known for Motley Crue, but it says prior to forming Motley Crue, he was a member of Sister before going on to form London with his sister bandmate Lizzie Gray. I mean, give me a break. But this band's Sister, it says they are notable for being one of the first bands to make the usage of the pentagram and other occult symbols. Sixx and guitarist Lizzie Gray would go on to form the band London. You know, like England, London. I mean, Lizzie, Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth, Gray. I mean, come on. Give me a break. Also, it says he launched a clothing line in 2006 with Kelly Gray. I mean, ridiculous. He formed a side group called 58. Like, okay, I mean, probably because he's born in 58, they could say, but I guarantee there's some other real reason behind that. Maybe someday I'll actually look more into that, but it doesn't really go with this video. The band London, even their second album was called Don't Cry Wolf. I mean, we've talked about how it's all to do with Lupercalia, and there's a ton of stuff with the wolf this year. Interesting, it came out on August 2nd, the day the Declaration of Independence was actually signed. It's also the 214th day. 214 is Valentine's Day. Lupercalia is from February 13th through the 15th over Valentine's Day. Don't Cry Wolf. And for whatever reason, this just reminded me of the movie The Gray. I've never actually seen it, but it's about I don't even know. A number of oilmen stranded in Alaska after a plane crash. Alaska, the 49th state, who are forced, whatever, and there's a pack of gray wolves that stalk them, blah, 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 in the cold weather. Who knows? I'm sure this movie's probably loaded with a ton of stuff, so should watch it. Hopefully I'll get the time, whatever. Even released the same day that Nikki Sixx was born, 12/11. So I believe that was his 53rd birthday. Not quite for sure. Can't remember. 58 to the 11. So, moral of the story: the only reason that Corey Taylor did all that was because of Paul Gray. It's all about Paul Gray. Even I forgot to include some of the Civil War type stuff that they've done with the word Gray and Freddie Gray. So he died in Johnston, Iowa, which is a suburb of Des Moines. I actually even lived there for a couple months, but and then so we'll just look at Des Moines and look at Johnston. Des Moines, Iowa, adds up to 61. We've talked about 61. I don't know how many times. Obama, whatever, was born in 61. Civil War started in 1861. The word 34. If you write out 34, it adds up to 61. But tons of stuff to do with the Civil War, and 34 and 43, the mirrors and whatever. Johnston adds up to 34. So interesting. I mean, I never looked through all of the band members. I'm sure maybe they're from a few other spots in Des Moines. Who knows? But I want to talk about one more thing to do with the Pope and Gray and whatnot, just because it kind of fits with this video. I know it's going to be long, but also I just realized that this is the guy who plays Freddie Krueger, Robert England, and he adds up to 155, just like Paul's Gray's first real name, whatever it was, Paul Dedrick Gray, also adds up to 155. I showed that earlier. So interesting that Freddie Krueger, the guy who plays him, would add up to the same thing. And it's all about the Gray and Freddie Krueger and whatever. But look at his name, Robert England, kind of like England, right? Where Queen Elizabeth, England. Robert is Bob, and in the Minions movie, it's all about Bob and the Queen, and I'll actually talk about that more in the when I actually do a decode of that movie. But very interesting. It's all about Freddie Gray and Freddie Krueger is Bob England. Yep, sorry, it doesn't make sense, and I'm not going to explain it because it will take up way too much time. So I also had this message from a while back. I've done a lot of stuff about the Pope and his coming on 9/23 and Obama and the Queen. That's a lot of my stuff has been about that. It seems like the last couple months, but they all tie together too. But he says, you probably know this. Saint Francis of Assisi. That's his real name. He's the guy that Pope Francis was supposedly named after. He also talked about how it might have been Francis Xavier, but all the things say that it's this guy. So when you add his name up, on here it says English, but I think he means Sumerian because it adds up to 1776. But that's just really interesting because Pope Francis is named after this guy. And Pope Francis also, I can't remember who told me, somebody told me about it, about how the original owner of Washington, D.C., or the area in where Maryland is or whatever, the name was Francis Pope. And this article was from June 5th, 1663. So that would literally be 352 years ago. I'll pull that up. 65, yep. 352 years ago. And interesting because 352 is 176 plus 176. Also, 1776 plus 176 is 1952, the year that Queen Elizabeth took her reign. 176 is also 88 plus 88 equals 176. And I've talked about forever how it has to do with Valentine's Day or also Lupercalia, and Valentine's Day just happens to be the middle day of it. And if you go to 8/9 and the Queen is 89 years old this year, it's 176 days away, or Valentine's 176 days before it. If you go 176 days before this, it takes you to 8/22 of 2014. That's 176 days. And from Gregorian to Julian, 8/22 and 8/9 are the same day. I actually tried this with a whole bunch of other dates, and it does not work out the same way. So, very interesting. Also interesting then, so this guy named Francis Pope way back when, the area was actually called Rome. So he was the owner of Rome. So it's just literally a play on Pope Francis, but this guy's name was Francis Pope, and he owned Rome, which is where Washington, D.C. is now. I mean, give me a break. Anyway, he also said in this comment that Jesuit equals 84, and they like to dress in black. Men in black equals 84. And it does. Men in black equals 84. Jesuit equals 84. Even United States of America equals 84. And it's just really funny because like the movie, or just Men in Black in general, deals with UFOs and aliens. And I've been talking about the Space Jam theme with Michael Jordan since Valentine's Day. And that's what happens. Michael Jordan goes and plays basketball with the Looney Tunes against the aliens that are invading or whatever. And then he comes out of retirement and he's the Bulls god. So interesting. But it made me look up Men in Black. And as I was just scrolling down here reading, it talks about some people, whatever, but then it says hoax. In his article, Gray Barker, my friend, the myth maker, blah, blah, blah. Gray, really? Gray Barker? So it says he was an American writer best known for his books about UFOs and other paranormal phenomena. His 1956 book, They Knew Too Much About Flying Saucers, introduced the notion of men in black to UFO folklore. Recent evidence indicates that he was skeptical of most UFO claims and mainly wrote about the paranormal for financial gain. He sometimes participated in hoaxes to deceive serious UFO investigators. I mean, look at it. Look at this. He was born on 5/2 of 25. I mean, literally. That's his birthday, 52 of 25. Come on. I mean, we talked about that forever. He also died in 84. And I mean, remember, we just talked about the 84s. But let's look at his name in Gematria then. His name in Gematria is 52 and 106. Really? 52, 106 is a huge day. We've talked about it with Philadelphia. The train that crashed had a 601 on it, and it was going 106 miles an hour. Obama winks at 106 on iPad Goat 2. Tons of stuff with it. Even it's the same as 923, converted Julian to Gregorian or whatever. If you do it as a date, it could be June 10th would be the 161st day of the year. So the mirror's 1661. Tons of stuff with 61, and then also 52. I mean, go figure. Even the word extraterrestrial is 213. 213, February 13th, the first day of Lupercalia. And then his name is even Gray. I mean, all of this, 5'2", 84, whatever. I'm going to leave this video at that. It's already like way long enough, so just wanted to throw in a few extra things that kind of go with it. But they're definitely doing a theme with Gray and Freddie Gray and Civil War, the Queen, Pope Francis. I mean, it all goes together. It's amazing how they even do it. It's craziness. But anyway, have a great night.